And I'm joined in the studio right now by Chris from Vida Cain, who is very excited because he does have a really cool gig that his band are headlining at the Beat Nightclub on Friday. So make sure you check that out. But you know who else is going to be joining you? Do you want to maybe tell our listeners if they didn't catch it the first time?
Sure, yeah. So we actually have these winter nights on with us. We have From the Dunes as well and Lacey supporting us. These winter nights are on first. I think they'll probably be on around 8:30, so it's a pretty good incentive for you to come down and check them out. Nice and early.
Yeah, the sexy sounds of Lucas Jones's voice. I'm not going to lie, it's a great voice that you have, Lucas. I thought I might talk to you a little bit about, you guys have just come back from a tour, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. We just came back from last Sunday, actually. We've been over in Melbourne and Sydney.
And how did that go for you?
Really good, really fun. It's the first time I've been over east playing, so it was a bit of a rush. It was good. Melbourne went down really well. We were there over the first weekend, and Sydney was pretty good as well. We kind of had unfortunately, a couple of gigs got cancelled and a bit mucked around, but we still had a good time, made the most of while we were there, and partied it up in Sydney. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you were playing over there, did you play with local bands from Melbourne and Sydney?
Yeah, we were just playing with local bands, and one of the shows in Melbourne was actually a festival, like a small festival, which was really cool. We got to meet a lot of cool bands there as well from all around the country. They had all different national and touring bands and stuff as well, which was wicked. Yeah.
Yeah. When you are you able to compare, I guess, the Perth music scene with what's happening over in Melbourne right now and in Sydney? Because everybody's saying, wherever you go, people are saying, yeah, the Perth music scene's thriving. We don't have Tame Impala, Jebediah, really great bands like that. But then our local grassroots music scene is incredible.
Yeah, I think Perth is... because it's so well knit because of the way Perth is. It's right out of the way of the eastern states and everything, and it's got its own sort of thing going on, and because of that it produces so much good music. Melbourne's scene is really good as well. There's so many places to play at, whereas in Perth it's a bit of a struggle sometimes to, there's not as many venues and that, but Melbourne's got heaps of places to play in all sorts of styles and gigs, which is cool. Sydney's a bit, I don't know, I think they've got some catching up to do. But there's still some good places and good bands out there to be seen in Sydney, yeah.
Yeah, what were the crowds like in comparison to Perth? Because sometimes you go out to a gig and you're really disappointed because it's a great act playing, but the place is pretty empty. Yeah,
Melbourne crowds are really, really good and really receptive. And the quality of the bands we were playing with, especially in the festival show, was really good. So and it was really cool to see people out and supporting and getting into live music, because a lot of the time these days you go out and it's just a DJ because it's easier to pay someone to do that than pay bands and set all that up. So it's really cool that they have that scene and that it's really strong over there. So they're really supportive of their live scene, which is great.
Yeah, and when it came to your gig on Friday night, how did you pick the local acts that you were going to be playing with?
Those sort of bands I've sort of had an eye on for a little while, and sort of they're up and coming, so it wanted to put some bands that have got a bit of a following, I guess, and that we hope are going to bring some of their fans along as well. And the boys from Lacey, we've played with them before, and we're sort of returning the favour, getting them on our show, and so helping the scene where you can, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's really great to see that, and I'm very much looking forward to coming down and checking it out. But why don't we talk a little bit about the main track that you are putting out, and that is Reloader.
Yeah, so that's our lead single, and that's hopefully that's our lead single from the album, which we're hoping to release in September. It's a pretty rocky sort of tune. I think it's probably the first track you heard was more of our heavy end of the spectrum, and this one's a bit more true to what we sort of sound a bit more like. So it'll give you a pretty good idea of what the album is going to sort of get a feel and sound like.
Yeah, and when it came to the influences that you did have around the time of writing these songs, are you able to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think we're sort of trying to go for that sort of rock, Aussie rock sort of sound. We're going, a lot of Green Spoon and that sort of sound, like that sort of thing. Not too heavy, not too light, sort of nicely in the middle sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, great to hear. And our listeners are very lucky because we're going to play that for them right now. This is Reloader by Vida Cain on Live and Local 89.7.